Ticket scalper scalped. Back in the days when we could go to concerts, I was stuck with a couple of tickets for a sold-out gig. When we got to the venue, I sent the rest of my family in to see if I could sell on my spare tickets. Only wanted face value, $60 each. And I knew it was a sellout. It was only a relatively small venue, so only one obvious scalper in view. I asked if he wanted to buy my pair, knowing he would resell them for way over face value. He offered me $10 each, take it or leave it, or see if you can get more for them. I informed him I'd rather tear them up in front of his face than let them go that cheap. End of conversation. Within 5 minutes a taxi pulled up and a couple of folks jumped out desperate for a pair of tickets. The scalper was on them like a shot. I slowly wandered over to join their conversation, and he was just about to close the deal for a pair at $120 each ticket. I leant in and said, "Hey fellas, I've got a pair here for face value minus $60 each." They were a little skeptical but walked in with me to validate that they were genuine. And paid up. "Hey Mr. Scalper, you told me try to get more. Shame it cost you your sale. Edit. Thanks for the awards, kind strangers." For a little more context, the show was Kasabian, massive UK band playing a tiny venue in Toronto. Karma played a part, and the kind bouncer sent my wife and I to the empty upstairs. There were literally 10 people there, all of us with the best view in the house. While my 18-year-old daughter and her friend were in the 1,300-strong pit. We all agreed that this was our favorite concert of all time. I'm mid-50s and have been to countless gigs, big and small. And my daughter has seen all the greats. Very Mild, Jonas Bros, Shawn Mendes, T Swift, etc. T Swift is phenomenal too, by the way. What a talent. Winking face. I have a similar story. A Muse gig in Manchester bought 6B tickets for me and 5 friends. One couldn't go and we couldn't find anyone else who could come at short notice. My friend had paid for his ticket and said, "If you can sell it while you're there, have some drinks." On me. Nice of him. Didn't want to do the whole pretend to be a scalper bit, so like op I approached a scalper and asked if he wanted to buy them. I don't remember the price, but he gave a similar insulting offer and I told him what he could do with his offer. We tried to get rid of the ticket in multiple ways, including offering it to a homeless person to either try and sell or go to the gig. He didn't want it, so I waited near to the scalper until he almost had a sale. Then I offered our spare ticket to the customer for free. Customer was happy. I was happy. The scalper may well have killed me if I didn't have 5 mates and a happy new friend with me. Screw you, scalper. Muse were awesome. Those guys who you sold the tickets to probably think of you fondly from time to time and remember that cool person that one night who made them feel like the universe was rolling in their favor. Good work, op. A couple of years ago had 3 tickets to see Bob Seger in Phoenix. Concert had gotten delayed and original companions couldn't make the show, so invited my best friend and his wife since they lived close to Phoenix. I live in Albuquerque. Friend made it, wife didn't, so still have an extra ticket. Had met a guy in the hotel bar the night before and he was so jealous about Seger. My friend and I went to dinner, then I told him I wanted to stop back by the hotel to see if maybe the guy from the night before was at happy hour. Nope. Not there. Told my friend I was going up to my room for a second and jumped on the elevator. Found the guy from night before. Gave him the ticket and he freaked. Didn't think I was serious. Told him we see him there if he made it. He did. Had a great concert. Rather give it away than see it go to waste. I was waiting outside a venue with a pair of Best in the House Countryside tickets and my date was Late. She called and was going to be held up until 20 minutes after tip-off. This venue was making a big deal out of no re-entry on tickets. So I didn't want to go in, then come out to meet her and risk getting denied re-entry. So I went to look for scalpers with an extra ticket. Scalper overheard my call and misunderstood that I wanted to sell him my tickets and offered less than half face value. No. I wanted to buy the cheapest seat he would sell me. Entry on that ticket. Then re-entry on the prime tickets. He demanded twice my prime seat cost for a terrible seat. His rival heard it all go down and sold me a nosebleed seat for $1. Then let me just take it for free so he could taunt the first guy. Ticket scalping is a harsh business. When Royal Blood were just making it big. They were playing the Electric Ballroom in Camden. Tickets were face value of £20. And I hadn't got one. I got there early. Walked up and down the queue asking people if they had a spare. Nobody had one. But I spoke to a lot of cool people who wished me well. When the touts turned up, they were offering me a ticket for £100. I'm not dumb enough to take that. But they kept following me around. Laughing. Saying I'd not get a ticket for any less. I even asked the security if there were any spare tickets on the door. But they said no. When the queue started to get let into the venue, the security guy came to me and said, "Sorry mate. You can't stand out here. You need to move. Come with me." This legend fucking walked me into the venue and I got to the front row. When I got in, a load of the people that I had spoke to outside spotted that I had got into the venue. And everyone started cheering for me. The gig was brilliant, by the way. Pre-COVID, there used to be an annual sport fishing fair where I live. I always get some free tickets. For me, family and friends, since I helped out a fishing magazine from time to time. Anyway. Last time I had 2 extra tickets since a friend got sick the day of the fair and couldn't come with his kid. Now these tickets hadn't cost me anything, but it felt wrong to let them burn. Especially since the entry fee to the fair for an adult were in the range of €40 and €15 for kids older than 5. So I started scouting for someone to give the tickets to. Walking from the train station to the venue, I spotted an elderly gentleman and what turned out to be his 7-year-old grandson also walking to the venue. I stopped them and asked if he already bought a tickets online or if he wanted 2 for free. Telling him how I had 2 extra free tickets due to a friend becoming sick, since he didn't have any tickets yet. I told him to take the 2 extra tickets I had and use the money he saved towards fishing gear for his grandson. I actually saw them leaving the fair several hours later when I was in line for one of the coffee shops. And the kid was carrying a new fishing rod and tackle box for kids. I love finding scalpers when it's just me at an event. I stand with a $5 bill and say who wants to sell. Eventually, they realize something is always better than nothing. So they take my $5 and I go in. Years ago when I worked in promotions, our entire office was gifted with 4 tickets each for the circus. Some of the guys had no interest in them, so gave them to us girls and I ended up with 8. I only needed 4, so I offered the extras to the crazy neighbors next door. Mother coldly snarled she didn't need charity, so I shrugged and gave them to the single dad across the road for him, his little girl and 2 friends. He was thrilled and his 3 years old was beyond excited. Scalpers aren't people, they are parasite wearing human skin. I was living in Southern California, working in an office with a guy who had a second job at a major amusement park that centered around a certain rodent. He had the ability to provide free passes at his discretion. He had given me quite a few of those tickets. Some were one-day passes. Some were 2-day passes. I used them 2 at a time. Once with my mom, once with my brother, once with my cousins, until I was down to just 1. I was leaving to move to Northern California and I didn't want to let one perfectly good ticket go to waste. I happened to be at my doctor's office for a last-minute appointment before I left. As I was leaving, I offered the ticket to receptionist. Her face lit up like it was Christmas. I will never know who got more joy out of that transaction. I'm sure it was close. A sales contact gave me tickets for the club level at AT&T Park for a SF Giants game. As I sat there, I watched a young couple in the standing-only area below. The woman had a young baby strapped to her front and he had curly blonde hair and the bluest eyes. SF can get really cold, and although he was bundled up, I could see his cheeks were red from the wind and she was struggling with his weight. I took my husband's and son's tickets, went down, asked if they wanted to come up. They were skeptical but followed and they gained entry using the tickets. The club level had indoor dining and you can snag seats along the windows and get great views. She was able to set her son down and make him a bottle while her husband snuck along the aisles to snap pictures. I tend to do stuff like this a lot. I enjoy the feeling from helping others. The only ones to witness are those with me since I don't go around mentioning it, so it's nice to share here without feeling boastful. Anyways, I never caught their names except that their son's name was Jackson and they were visiting from Sydney, Australia. They now have a story about an overweight Mexican girl helping them out of the blue, and that makes me smile. Oh, if this counts as malicious compliance. I've done this but better. I used to get large amounts of computing hardware absolutely free. Usually it was because some part wasn't worth fixing compared to just buying a new one. A client had upgraded and didn't want the old stuff. Or because the hardware was too old, out of warranty. So we couldn't assign it out to people, even though it was still working perfectly. So I'd clean these systems up, buy replacement parts as need be, and donate them to needy people or trade them on Craigslist. One of these trades was for 4 pit tickets to Korn's Family Values Tour. And while there was only my wife and I, we figured worst case scenario I'd sell them and get food or something from the venue. The day of the concert, we see some scalpers and ask how much they'd give us, since the show's sold out and pit tickets are way more expensive. Like $100 each if I recall correctly. Figured I'd get half price. Scalper would get half. We'd both be happy. But no. Scalper offers me $30 for the pair because no one would want them when regular tickets were $40 a pop. I'm pissed at the lie. So I wait. And these 2 kids, probably just turned 18, come up to the scalper and ask how much. When I hear that he's asking $100 for nosebleed seats, I interrupt and ask if they want pit tickets. They say they can't afford it. To which I reply, "Who said anything about paying?" and give them the tickets. Obviously the scalper is pissed as hell. And I enjoy the concert even more knowing that 2 kids hopefully just felt the beauty of the pit for the first time. Good. I absolutely loathe scalpers. He offered me $10 each, take it or leave it, or see if you can get more for them. Quote. What a stupid challenge to make. Did he think he was the only one who could sell tickets before the concert? I grew up in Cleveland, in Cuyahoga County. Scalping was illegal. Scalpers existed, but you had to do business with them outside the county. It was weird. Anywho, one year, Metallica comes to town. Instantly sold out show. We get a scalper to sell us the best ticks we could afford, which were nosebleed seats. We get the ticks and open the envelope and they were like 10th row back. Scalper realized his fuck-up later in the day and tried to call me and tell me I needed to return the tickets for the ones I paid him for. I just laughed till he hung up the phone. Great concert. Metallica, Kid Rock, and Avenged Sevenfold. IIRC. Many years ago, my dad was in Manhattan in December with a free evening and thought he'd try to see The Messiah. Went to box office hoping against hope. Sorry. Sold out. As he turned to leave, a guy walked up and said, "You wanna see the show?" Gritting his teeth, my dad said, "Yes." The man handed him a ticket, said, "Merry Christmas," and walked away. Only in New York. I bought 2 tickets to the Rob Zombie Marilyn Manson concert. My friend canceled on me, so I went alone. The seats were decent, but when I got there this guy next to me was like, "Hey, my friend has a ticket to the box seats if you want to trade." So I traded and got a box seat and they got to sit with their friends. This is perfect. Scalpers suck. Well deserved. A very kind soul gave me and my son second row behind the dugout to a Washington Nationals game as we were walking in. Son got a game ball that night. 2. Best game ever. As someone who worked in live event ticketing until COVID killed the industry, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Resellers are scum. Shit scraped from a shoe. They can get a business license and call it the secondary market, but they're still the same shit stains they were before.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.